a lot of agents who maybe they're successful on social media, but they have fear around going live because it is awkward to just put your face in front of a camera and talk nonstop with no one like responding to you other than a chat, right? And so I'm going to try and help people overcome their limiting beliefs around that, and just show that you are, again, you're leaving money on the table if you're not engaging in what's happening.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Vulcan7 Coaches and Mentors, where we bring you some of the best in the industry to share with you their tips and strategies so that you can implement them in your business immediately. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk about goal planning and goal setting, especially for this year, 2025. So if maybe 2024 was not your best year and you want to start to change things up, well, get your pen and paper ready, because with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring on today's guest, Jenn, Grandjean. Welcome, Jenn.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes. Now, we have had you in the past, so we're going to make sure to put our previous episode in the description box. But for someone that's new that maybe is not too familiar, just go ahead and give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in real estate for like 13 years now, and I got started. Didn't know what real estate was going to bring me, but was super excited about it after I graduated college. Just jumped right into real estate, and so I've been on teams. I've done every single aspect of real estate you can think of, from admin assistant to transaction coordinator to listing specialist. Worked with tons of buyers, sold hundreds of homes. Been on teams. I've been solo. I've done all the things. I've been an operations manager for a high producing team. And then in 2018-ish, I transitioned into being an agent on a team. And then I went off solo by myself, and then made my first hire within the first year. I hired a transaction coordinator, and then I built out my team from there. And then I started a national, organization within my company. And now I coach and train real estate agents all over the place. And so that's what I, primarily spend time. I do still sell, help people buy and sell real estate, but my main focus is on, coaching and training and helping other people be successful.
That's so awesome. I feel like you have every type of experience that we can probably think of, from like being solo to a team, operations. I want to take it back to what you did before you got into real estate and kind of what made you get into this business.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of high school, I went into college, and, initially I majored in business and ended up found myself into psychology. So I actually graduated with a psychology degree, knew that I loved helping people, have a passion for, helping others and giving other people opportunity. And so that's kind of my background in education. And I, decided on real estate because I'm like, okay, I knew someone that was like, hey, I think you'd be good at this. And so I just went for it. And ultimately, it was the best decision that I've ever made. If I could have started real estate earlier, I would have. So basically, I just went into it and learned everything that I could. And so I really, before real estate, I was in college. So it's kind of the first career move I made. I actually was a server before that, just to kind of help, pay bills through college and whatnot. So that gave me great, experience and customer service skills and talking with people. So that actually transferred over really well to real estate. But yeah, as far as my background, that's kind of where it all got started, and I've never left. So
When you started, your real estate career, what did your prospecting, your schedule, did you have guidance? What did that all look like?
yeah, so fortunately, I started in real estate on a very high producing team in the area that I was in. And so I was inundated with training and sales skills, negotiation techniques, and also how to do things properly, right? Because it was a full built out team. So we had transaction coordinators, we had admin people, we had all the things. So I really got to learn how it should run. And that's where I really built an understanding and really valued a team. And so I love the aspects of people having different strengths and seeing how all of that works together to go further, farther, faster. And so that's, kind of where it all started for me, and kind of, what my initial experience was.
Yeah. So obviously, you've been in the business long enough. Now you're coaching and training agents. You have a nationwide team. So at what point in your career were you like, you know what? I can grow this. I know what I'm doing. I can start to hire people. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So because with my unique experience in the sense that I kind of did every single role possible in real estate, and so I had this unique perspective that a lot of agents don't come into the game knowing and having. And it was actually, I remember the moment where, when I first started, I valued security over opportunity going into it, because the majority of my background, the people that I know, my family had 9 to 5 jobs, W-2 type employees, and so security was taught, and something that I was just grew up with. But as I went along, I realized, and as I had a salary position, operations manager, I was working 50, 60 hours a week making what I made. And I saw, and I was coaching and training at the time, other real estate agents to do this, and I saw that they were working part-time and had more flexibility and were making more money than me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm literally training these people how to do this. Why wouldn't I just do this myself to have more opportunities? So I made the jump and I became an agent on the team that I was on instead of, so I moved out of operations and went into just selling. And my very first year, I sold 50 homes. And so, lead generation, I built my business on cold calling. And then after that year, I was looking at, because I track everything, and looked at all the numbers, and I realized that almost $250,000 was going to the team. And I'm like, wait, I could hire a transaction coordinator, I could have my own admin assistant, and I could buy leads, and I could do all the things that I've been coaching and training real estate agents to do, and I could start it on my own. So with a lot of support, and it was, for me, it was like a scary jump to do that, but at the same time it's like, well, I know I can help people buy and sell, I can lead generate, I can do all those things. So I took a chance on myself, and that's when I broke off and became a solo agent in 2018. And so, because of the experience that I had, because I'd already done all that and helped build it, I was able to see that, okay, I need a transaction coordinator right away. And then that's the build process that I started with. And then along the way, I'm like, you know what? I really enjoy helping other agents. Like, yes, I get fulfillment over helping people build wealth, buyers and sellers, but will have so much more of an impact if I can help other agents. Like, I wish, like what I know today, 13 years in, I wish there was someone like me when I first started, to help with confidence, to help, just guidance and training, because there's so many shiny objects in real estate and in business, and you can get sidetracked and, get lost in all of the noise. And so that's why I created the initial course that I did, which is Slay Your First Year in Real Estate, that, anyone can, purchase. But when people join my Hype Squad organization, they get that for free. Like, all my stuff is, I cut out all the BS and all the things that don't actually matter, and just talk about and help coach and train on the things that do, which is, you got to have self-confidence. You have to believe in yourself, have a why, and have an intrinsic motivation in order to make it and to sustain a real estate business, because this is not an easy industry. And then you got to lead generate, lead follow up. I mean, those three things, the confidence, lead gen, and lead follow up, are the foundation to any real estate business. And so all of my team meetings that I do, the coaching that I do, that's kind of the underlying foundation and principles that get infused to any topic and conversation that I talk about when I'm coaching agents.
Something that you mentioned was the shiny objects, because I think especially now there's so many things that agents get distracted by. So what
Yep.
are some of the mistakes that you're seeing from maybe agents that want to join your team or are in your organization? What are they doing wrong?
Yes. So when a brand new agent comes in, right, like, you're just getting licensed, and you're super excited, right? So there's a lot of excitement and feelings of like, okay, I can do this. This is going to be really fun, and all that stuff. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think agents make is that they focus on all the wrong things and the non-money making activities. So they're focused on, well, where's my office going to be? Oh, I need headshots, or I need a website, and I need to know contracts, and so all of these things that, while sure, they may be important, but those things don't make you money, right? The things that make you money is conversations with people who are able to buy and sell real estate. And so I tell any agent that talks to me about, asking about the Hype Squad or what is it like, I'm like, the very first thing that I do when you get in here is, we're going to focus on lead generation, and all this other stuff that, I'm not saying it's not important, but you need to be making money in order to do all the other, get a great website, and spend time on creating social media content, or building out beautiful marketing packets, because you can have all those things, but if you don't have any clients, it doesn't matter, right? So one of the biggest mistakes is focusing on non-money making activities that I see. And another thing that a lot of agents that I come to, or that come to me, and when we have conversations, they're fearful and focused on things that just don't actually help them in their business, and they will try a lead generation strategy. This is another big thing, is they'll try a lead generation strategy for a couple weeks or a month or whatever, and be like, oh, well, it doesn't work, I'm not getting something. And in real estate, it's not an instant gratification business. It is a long game, and you have to sustain it enough. Any lead generation strategy that you pick, you've got to stick with it long enough, and you have to track it in order to really determine, does this work for me or does it not? Is it not working because you just don't have enough time in it, right? And so that what I would say is a huge thing for real estate agents, is they don't spend enough time and actually track things to know if it actually works or if it doesn't.
So obviously, we just started a brand new year. I mentioned it right when we started regarding goals. If
Mhm.
someone is watching this and they're like, you know what, Jen, 2024 was not my best year, but I'm ready to kick butt this year. How can I set goals, and what should that process look like? What do I need to be analyzing?
Yep, I love this topic. I think it's really, really important. I think there's a lot of great things, and I've actually, most of my coaching calls that I've been having with agents, December and January, have uh, been surrounded with goal setting and planning, and so I have a lot of things that I could say about it. But some of the main things and what I do with the agents that I coach and train is I like to look at the whole person. It's not just about how much money you want to make this year, how many transactions you want to do. It helps to tie it into what actually motivates you. Why do you get up every single day? Like, what is it like? And it's not even what is it about real estate that you like? What do you actually want to do with your life? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What types of people are, in your influence, or that are your responsibility that you have to take care of? What do you like? What are your hobbies? Do you like to travel? All of those things, do you have debt that you have to pay off? What are the real life things going on that impact and can have a tie-in with your business? So I try and talk about like the personal things, and really truly figure out what your internal why and your motivation that we hear about all the time, and then say, okay, so now that we know what it is that you want, the expenses that you have, the nitty gritty of all that, now how much do you need to make this year? How many deals would it take to have the lifestyle that you want, to go on those vacations that you want to go to set aside money to pay for your kids' college, to whatever it might be? Now let's put a number to that. Then all of a sudden, instead of what I hear from most agents, that especially when they're first starting, oh, I want to make six figures. Like, okay, well, why do you need six figures right now? Is that like, how do we go from this just whatever random goal that you don't know what you don't know, to real numbers that actually fit who you are, your lifestyle, what you want? And so taking a look at the whole person, your entire scenario, both personally and professionally, that's what then dictates how we do our goal planning. And then what most people find out is that it's actually not that many deals to get to what you want, especially if you're brand new, you're just starting out. And so a lot of aha moments happen when we break that down. And what I like to do is, it's kind of a funnel of, we've got the big picture goal for the year, right? Okay, I want to sell X amount of deals, or I want to make X amount of money. Perfect. Okay, then we go into your lead generation strategies. I recommend that most people do, three, give it, if you only have one, if that doesn't work out, it doesn't go very well, then you got all your eggs in one basket. If you have too many lead generation strategies and you're trying all these different things, you're probably not going to do anything well. So that's why, for me, that magic number is about two to three, just depending. And so we build those out, and then we break it down even further into, what does your daily schedule look like? What are you doing on a daily, weekly basis, so that you wake up every morning knowing exactly what you have to do in order to get to those, lead generation strategies that you set out to ultimately hit your goal. And I also like to do certain checkpoints. So for example, I've got one agent who has some student debt that he wants to pay off. And so I'm like, okay, how much is that? So we know that amount. Okay, this many deals, 3 deals is going to pay all of that off. How much money from each of those deals can you put into that and get that done by June next year? And so it starts to infuse me, like, okay, I can feasibly do, if I put aside half of my commission checks, I can get my student debt paid off within this year. So that becomes a goal for his year, is by June, I have to sell X amount of deals in order to pay off my student debt. Okay, then what's the next one? So I like to create mini goals along the way. It's a really, really good strategy, because just having one big goal for a year is too long. Typically it's, you can wake up on any random day, and if you don't feel like lead generating, it's not close enough. You're not close enough to that goal for it to motivate you. But if you have a quarterly goal, monthly goal, weekly goals, those things, that's enough to kind of keep you going. So I recommend, yes, having, your yearly goal, and even further beyond, but make little checkpoints and celebrate the small wins along the way to kind of keep that motivation going, since we all know that motivation wanes and it comes and goes, and you never know, how you're going to feel on any given day.
I feel like everything that you just said, everyone that's watching, they might need to watch this 2 or 3 times and just keep on watching it, because everything, it's all exactly what you just mentioned. Um, why are you doing this? A lot of times people are just like, I want to make this amount of money, but what's the reason behind it? So that's a great thing and a great exercise. Now, I kind of want to switch to social media, because maybe someone is here watching. They're like, wait, I think I've seen Jenn on TikTok or Instagram. Tell us about a little bit about your journey on social media and how that has helped your business.
Yes. Okay. So I'll be completely honest. I was one of those people that were like, I'm a private person and no one cares like what I'm doing, and they, like, whatever. And so I was just kind of one of those ghost people that, I'd scroll the feed or look at stories and just, but not engage, not put my life or myself out there, because like I said, my limiting belief was I'm a private person and no one cares what I have to say or what I'm doing. And you know what? I got really, really honest with myself. And when I realized, what, I am giving up opportunity. I am leaving money on the table and hindering my own success by not realizing that social media is it's you have to utilize social media these days. This is 2025, and if you're not on social media, you are missing out in lots of different ways. And I knew myself, and I knew that I needed external accountability in order for me to do this. And now I understand not everybody can go hire somebody to help keep you accountable. But I knew for me, in the stage that I was at, that I needed some outside help. And so I found the most amazing marketing director. She's still with me today. I hired her, 4 or 5 years ago. And she is a huge piece. And again, also in alignment with my values of believing that a team, and that, bringing in everyone's strong point and having a mindset of collaboration over competition helps you grow further, faster, stronger. And so I was like, I value this. I'm going to spend money on this so that I ensure that I show up on social media how I'm supposed to, and that I do it consistently. Because when you spend your own money and you've got skin in the game, you're more likely to do it. And I knew that from, my experience in business. And so brought her on, and she has a marketing background, and taught me a lot about video creation, content creation, how to be engaging, and what it takes in this day and age, and the digital marketing space, about what you need to do to be successful. And so I committed to showing up, to, just increasing and getting my skills to a level where they needed to be in order for it to be successful. Because it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to show up on social media, I'm going to post here and there or whatever. I'm like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend money on this, I want it to be done well, and I want it to be done right, and I want it to actually impact people, not just do it to do it because everyone else is telling me to do it. So that's kind of how I got started, and then it's just grown from there. And actually, my biggest account, the one that I'm most successful on, is TikTok. And I had an account originally. My handle was just a state of Jenn, like it is on any other platforms. And I grew it to 60,000 followers in, I think, under 2 years. And I got banned. And I still don't know why I got banned. I'm like, all I'm doing is helping people. Like, what happened here? So anyways, that happened. And, was sad about it for about 30 minutes. And I'm like, all right, well, let's rebuild. Let's do it again. We've done it once. And so built it back up to 25,000 people in 6 months. So what I learned is, and this is like a message for everyone, no matter what lead generation, no matter whatever, wherever you're at in business, right? We all, like most millionaires, go bankrupt on average 7 times. And so what I've learned from that, and in my own experience, and just watching other successful people, is that you're gonna hit roadblocks. You're going to have quote unquote failures, but it's not a failure unless you quit. It's a learning lesson. And now now you can start from experience. Like if something doesn't work, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. And that's the mindset that I went into when I created my second account. Now it's a State of Jen official with the new account, and I built it, in way less time the second time around. So it was a great learning lesson for me. And it doesn't mean that there's not struggle and there's not days that like it's really, really difficult. But I actually convert more people and with less followers now from TikTok than I did in my first 2 years of creating my original account.
So it's all about being intentional. Going back, you started creating content, but you're intentional. Because sometimes I see it all the time. People, agents are posting. It's like, I got to post something today. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to post it. But what's the intention behind it?
Mhm.
So I know that you have an event coming up that it's going to be very beneficial for agents. So go ahead and share about that and what's going to be happening.
Yes, it's called the All-Star Summit. It's a virtual event. And so I actually spoke at it last February. And so they're doing it again this February. I was invited to come back and speak. And the topic this year is going to be, I'm going to be sharing about going live for your business and how that can help you, tips and tricks on how to run a successful live. I do it every single week, multiple times a week. I go live on TikTok. I'm also going to be going lives on other platforms since there's some drama, around TikTok, if people know. So you know what, but again, you never know. You never know when a platform is going to go bye-bye or whatever, but going live is a huge thing. If you notice across multiple industries, big major players are going live. And when you see big major players starting to do similar things, that should be a clue for you of like, okay, if people who are, millionaires, billionaires, or whatever are starting to do something, they're,
Got to do
here's
it.
your sign, right? Here's your sign. And so, going live, a lot of people have fear around that. Just like, I coach and train on cold calling a lot because not only did I build my business that way, but I'm coaching and training other agents to be successful in it. So I talk a lot about that. And a lot of people have fear surrounding making cold calls. A lot of agents who, maybe they're successful on social media, but they have fear around going live because it is awkward to just put your face in front of a camera and talk nonstop with no one like responding to you other than a chat, right? And so I'm going to try and help people overcome their limiting beliefs around that, and just show that you are, again, you're leaving money on the table if you're not engaging in what's happening in other content creators doing this thing that you might be afraid to do. But if you're afraid, that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't do it.
So how can people sign up for that event or find out more so that they can attend?
Yes. So if you just Google All-Star Summit, it should be there, but we're actually, they're going to be releasing, a place to buy the tickets and all of that stuff, I believe, as of February. It's going to be early February. I don't know the exact dates yet, but just I will be posting about it for sure. But the event will be marketed all throughout the beginning of February because it's happening about mid-February is when the actual content will be released, and they'll have specific days for all the speakers and everything. So keep on a lookout for that. You can follow my accounts to find out about it. But yes, it'll be I think dropped February 1st is when the majority of the content will be out there for people to sign up.
Awesome. And we have obviously your links right under your name, but in case someone wants to reach out or maybe they're listening to this on a podcast, how can they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So obviously I love TikTok. So TikTok is a State of Jen official. All other social media platforms like Instagram, X, LinkedIn, all the stuff, that is a State of Jen. And then I've got my website, astateofjen.com as well. If you want to check out, I've got courses for agents, a blog, and different resources as well.
Awesome. Well, Jen, thank you so much for coming on here once again. We'd love to have you back. We're going to make sure to put your previous episode in the description box below. Send people your way. And yes, thanks again. I'm sure that we'll be doing this again in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, everyone.